Well, hi, this is Applejinx, and I'm going to show you all around some of the new things that I have made, notably including a crazy chicken grinder. But first, here is my little home. It has a nice little jump down to a ravine that I found, an underground ravine. Oh, this is because I find it very annoying when spiders are walking on my head. They just won't shut up and they keep yelling, so unless it has run out. There we are. It's a dispenser with flint and steels, so there's a little flamethrower above. What that means is that when the spider hangs around, jumping up and down on my head and yelling, I can make it stop yelling pretty good. That's not the only thing that I've been doing with flint and steel dispensers. You may notice I have a bunch of chicken. Here's why. Pay no attention to the cows behind the curtain. This is another sort of grinder thing. But behold a chicken actuary. Now the reason it is an actuary is because an actuary is working statistics like for insurance or something. But you can see what this is from here, actually. Actuarially. This is a dispenser, and it's running on a clock. And these hoppers feed it. This hopper's going into this hopper's going into this hopper, and it's just a long line of chickens on top of hoppers feeding this. Eggs that they lay go into the dispenser and get automatically fired. You may have heard one. It should be spitting out a lot of eggs, so it should be going through this. This is part of how this happens. They're glitching out of here like mad. Now, you can see how this could get into a feedback loop. More eggs creates more chickens, creates more eggs, and it will expand geometrically until everything basically blows up. So there has to be a limiting factor, and it took a little work to do that. But I have worked it out. Here's how this works. That's a comparator. I finally got my hands on some comparators. And it is splitting and driving two different things, but this one, as you can see, it's driving the timer. It's a little comparator timer. I've got it set to fire them off fairly regularly. This is the comparator timer that also can do really fast spastic firing and burn out the torch it's connected to. I'm not doing that this time. It's firing at a fairly sedate pace. Now here's how this works. If the signal strength is high enough, this one will fire too. In fact, I can make that happen later for demonstration purposes. Rather than just feeding stuff in, if there's enough in that dispenser, it'll start loading up. As you can see, it's sort of picking up the pace, and it's staying on fairly for an extended time. I think it takes about 14, 16 or so eggs in there that haven't been fired yet before this circuit turns on as well. It goes underneath here and out. It actually goes to a pulse lengthener in the middle there that I'll also show. And up through this very ungainly and awkward line here. I seem to have lost my sword somehow. I guess maybe I just used it up. Yes, please keep talking, guys. Don't just go silent on me. See, sometimes this happened and I basically lost the ability, or I lost the entire game save, which is not good. Come on, speak to me. That circuit powers this piston, and this piston pulls this stone back, allowing them to pass through to where this fire is. Let's see whether we can get back in here. Oh, very nice. It pulls the piston back, and they're able to go through and fall in the fire and fall in those. These go to the output circuit. Now what happens from there is underneath here. Or at least it's underneath here, except for that some chickens have gotten in the way. These have been glitching through everywhere, and they're really messing up the operation of the system. System really kind of needs to be able to have the minecart in here working. This is the latch, a startup, and it fires off this minecart scenario. It's this long line of repeaters, visible through the floor just because why not? And it fires this minecart back and forth. That goes underneath this hopper and picks up the drops from the chicken and carries them along. That was quick. Carries them through to in here. Here's another startup latch. Here's another delayer. And this is the output thing. This goes up over another hopper. Should be coming back. Here it is. And that empties its card out into a chest. So as a result, this is just constantly filling up and going crazy and stuff. And when the chickens are not glitching through the walls and making the cart stop, because they are really good at making the cart stop, they can pick up stuff and drop it in this chest. Here is something that was just recently. And also here is a bunch of eggs. 16 will be enough to show this technique. So what we're going to do now is prepare to manually load the dispenser. What's going to happen when I load this up with this 16 eggs is it won't be able to fire them all at once, and it will pull this stone back, and the chickens will go through, and then when it puts the stone back again, what will happen is it will shove whatever chickens are still there onto the fire, and here's how it works. And off they go. That's a whole lot of harvesting right there. That was more than 16 eggs dumped into it at once. And it shuts off. And now it builds itself up again. Normally what would happen is that would fire briefly because it would go only slightly over the limit. What I just did was fire it off in a big noisy way to illustrate how the mechanism works. I can hear that my minecart is still working. I think maybe I'll get out of the zone of these guys. All my cows are standing. Okay, yeah, they're moving around a little bit more. But, yeah, not thrilled with the performance of this. Let's see how this is doing. 15. And there's my minecart. Looks like still 15. So, yep, this is the chicken actuary, and clearly needs a little debugging. Either that or it's just the lag of the server that's doing me in. One thing that's happening in a big way that's screwing everything up is the chickens glitching through transparent walls. That's why there's that big birch log up there. I'm given to understand that having a transparent ceiling right above them just contributes to the problem. But I'm not sure how well this is solving it. I would hate to have it all be opaque. I mean, I suppose it would be practical, and if that was something that would stop all the glitching, that would be cool. But it's so much fun to watch all this craziness happen. And the moving mechanisms and stuff. Now these guys work a different way. Maybe I have too many of these mob farms in one area. We got all of these cows, they're floating around, and what you do is you strafe from side to side, feeding them. And when there's enough of them, there's a pressure plate over here. You can see it a little more easily inside the control panel. See, what we got over here is two dispensers right over those funnels, right over the hoppers. The hoppers are right over the minecart, and it passes under them, so it picks up one thing at a time from the hopper as it goes by. So it's not a quick unload exactly, but... And here's a pressure plate. Oh, this might even work. We might be able to see it happen. Sure enough. This one did not work. I haven't wired it up yet. That's lasting for a long time. I think it's going to take them all out. Oh goodness. I did not think to turn it back off again. Alright. Well, that solves that problem. Debugging these things can be hilarious. That's all my cows in one go. What happened there was... Oh, is it still on? Is it still on fire? I don't think so. It doesn't look like it. That was interesting. I guess I can take this thing apart now. It's done its job. What happened there was the dispensers have flint and steel in them, so they spit out fire. The water gathered all the drops from the dying cows, which is cooked meat, because I wanted it to be cooked like the chickens are cooked. And I guess the fire just didn't shut off. I guess you have to hit it twice or something. I thought that you got only a brief burst of flame, but it seemed to last for a good long time. So, big fire on the hoppers, and the water gathered all of the cows together, and yep, harvested them all at once. So that's one way to do it, I guess. And 3 steaks, 6 raw beef, 3 leather, and again the 15 cooked chicken. So this is all fun and amusing and slightly derpy and wrong. But it's been great figuring out the details of things like the timers. A guy here, Nems, was showing me some stuff that I'd also been researching on YouTube, and it's great to see that kind of stuff in action. And it was also nice to work out the overflow valve here, being this this arrangement is the key thing here. Comparator, oh, don't do that to me. The lag is doing it. It's the lag again. I think I don't have enough stuff going on here to be contributing to the lag, but for all I know, other people are. This is a multiplayer server. So you got the dispenser, you got the comparator, you got a stuck minecart over here, and it can drive this one at a distance of 1 almost immediately. But if you have a distance of 2, that's not going to fire this immediately. So I think I bridged a gap here where it was activating something else. So essentially, this is a 2-stage dispenser fire, and they're clearly getting out through that little hole, but I don't know how else to do it. I mean, the dispenser's got to be there. I guess I could have it firing in a different direction or something, but as long as I'm tearing stuff apart and burning mob traps, what I'll do is show you this clock. Got right past me, okay. So there's the output of that part. I can get into where the clock is here. Now here's how this guy operates. It's firing this block by running current across it, and the base of that is powering the comparator. It seems to be sitting there being on, but what happens is the signal from this repeater goes back out through here again. There's actually something else you can do. I wonder if I can get at the dispenser. Yeah. See, I have it firing the dispenser because I have a row of torches going up so that I can fire the dispenser without running wire to it. I was hoping to have no holes in the floor, but I wasn't able to do that. Here's the thing. If you set this one to 1 repeat, this becomes a crazy fast dispenser that will burn out the torch. So if you fill it up, it'll fire them off rapid fire until the torch burns out, and then it'll start up again. I'll leave it like that for a moment. Oh, and this is what a pulse extender looks like. Going into a block powers the block, and the block also powers adjacent wire. And there's a repeater, powers the block, which powers adjacent wire, and so on. So it gets an immediate signal, and then it also keeps getting the signal over again from the repeaters in the sides of the blocks. It just stretches out the connection to this. And Interesting. It seems to work, but I have something funny going on here. I'm powering this block, so maybe I've got... Oh, I know. I'm inverting it. There's an inverter in here. This block is powered by this wire, and then there's a torch underneath this, and the torch is powering this. So I'm just inverting it. It's obvious when you look at it that that's how it's doing it. Now I've cranked up the speed on that sucker, and I'm leaving this all open so the chickens will get in here and make the minecart stop, but oh well. I'll get back to that later. I think when the minecart isn't running, the whole system slows down a little bit, and that's just as well. And we'll settle for a certain amount of stuff and then go with that. But let me grab some more eggs. I don't really need to open the gate here. I just need to get a bunch of eggs so that I can do the rapid fire trick. More eggs, more eggs. I guess that's about it. So we won't actually be able to watch it fire because we're going to feed the dispenser from... Hang on, maybe not. Can I reach that dispenser to load it from here? Am I carrying glass? I am carrying glass. And if I break that, I'm in... Oh no! Okay, this is absolutely going to wreck everything, but I can at least fire this off before the whole thing blows up. So much for that minecart. They're all getting out that way. But while they're getting out, here's how fast that repeater can fire. And that's just burning out the torch over and over again. So here's the chaos of a big complicated build with all kinds of stuff built into it like this. Observe the result of me breaking the wrong glass block. No, you I want to close. Definitely. The minecart has to go through here. That's not gonna happen. So this machine is now utterly and completely broken. I've had to clean this out before. I've had to clean it out by getting grain and sort of leading all of the chickens out of here, but when you get something like this stuffed with chickens, it's really a big mess. So, there's my little high-speed thing. By the way this works, when it was actually working, and I can always reload it and start it up again from scratch. If it's set on the slowest possible setting, that's going to have the smallest fullness to fire it off. In other words, it won't be as crammed full of chickens. But if I have it on the fastest possible setting, what happens is that signal coming in from the dispenser, firing off this is emptying the dispenser before it can fire the chicken killer piston over there and empty everything. Now, if this is emptying this so fast, it will just be stuffing that channel full of chickens so intensely that it's almost impossible for it to open the piston. But as it's doing that, they'll be laying more eggs, and so they will be firing it off. It'll get into that geometric thing, and eventually it will get to the point where even this is overwhelmed. It burns out its little torch, and we'll set it back to slow again. Even that will be overwhelmed and not be able to function, at which point that thing will fire off after all. Well, thank you for another amusing experience in the Wolfden server as I try to make mob grinders and make a impressively big mess. Thankfully, this is confined a little bit in that I have them behind this fence because I knew they were glitching through the walls. The cows were glitching too. So they're going to be in here, and they're going to be in there, and they're going to be under there, and I'll be able to see them playing with my timers and running back and forth inside here and laying eggs and creating a big mess, and I can't get at any of this. So the way you clean this up is basically you go and hold grain and then lead them all out. Go and persuade them all to come to you, at which point you kill them for being a plague and being stuck in the guts of your machine so it can't work anymore. There is another one up there. So there will be no more... hello. There will be no more unloading of this machine just yet. Unless that chicken lays an egg in there, in which case that egg will go into the chest. Oh, that was helpful. So we have our rather small amount of cooked stuff, and this has been the first attempt at a big elaborate automated mob farm. Thank you very much.